two reasons why I think quarantine is easy for me and why it's hard for everybody else. One, I feel like I've already like acknowledged my like death fears when I was like leaving religion and also going through spinal cord injury and going through addiction. Like I feel like I've already explored that part of my mind, and I don't have any fears or like around death, like in any way, shape, or form.
Yeah. And also you've like had a lot of near-death experiences too.
Exactly. And I think also is the fact that like multiple times over I've had to restart my life. Like I've had to restart my life post spinal cord injury. I had to restart my life getting clean. Like I've had to restart my life quite a few times, all with different rules every single time. So like I feel very similar that I'm like, oh, I'm just going through another reset, like another restart. And like that's why I think I'm pretty prepared. I feel pretty decent about it, and I think a lot of disabled people have this skill because
Totally.
I think we understand and realize more than anybody else ever does. It's like different doesn't mean over. Like the world's not over. Like your life's not over, but it's just not. It's different now. It's a new normal. Like you have to figure out what your new normal is, and I think coronavirus is going to. That's the first time I said it. Sorry, I didn't mean to provoke anxiety in anybody. I've been so vague. I always I keep saying like the thing that's happening
Dude,
and
you just
what's going
triggered
on.
me, bro.
No, dude, because
Give
those
me a trigger
words.
warning, bro.
Listen, no, I just mean it in the sense of like, just in general, like you turn on the news, you get anxious, you hear those words, and like language matters, and like those words can give people like a lot of anxiety. But anyway, so
Are you talking about the Chinese virus, bro? I'm just kidding.
I don't even. That sounds like some like left libtard shit, and I'm more left than I am right, but that sounds like some really like lefty shit.
I know, I'm just fucking with you.
No,
I agree. I just think right now it's like almost kind of impossible to not talk about it.
Yeah, but anyway, I don't know what I was saying. Tell me where I was
You were
at.
saying it's easier for you because you're a spinal cord injury person. You've had to restart your life a million times.
Yeah, but,
you know, because of other reasons.
But I think there's a lot of people still holding on to going back, and I don't know if I'm convinced if there's a back yet, because I've lived this enough times. I've gone through this enough times where there's this moment when you're like, oh, it's not going back anymore, is it? Like this.
Yeah, well, everyone has like nostalgia for the past, right? Because everyone you look at the past through rose-colored glasses because you tend to remember all the good times. You know, it's like, oh, I remember when we could do this. Oh, I remember like the fondness towards certain things, and you know. I'm typically someone who's like an early adopter of certain things, you know, especially technology things, especially of, you know, I don't know, whatever. I'm like, I pay attention to a lot of like cutting edge things like that. So like, I guess I'm hopeful for the future. I'm working a job that's like pretty future proofed for the most part, you know, as far as like video stuff. Like, I don't think that's going away. So I do find comfort in some of that. And I do feel sympathy for people that are in a lot of things that maybe their job isn't going to come back, or maybe they're not going to, you know, all kinds of things. I feel sympathy for them. I really do. But I think also it kind of goes back to like happiness equals reality over expectations. We talked about a couple episodes ago, because it's like, if you go through life expecting the world to give you something, you're going to be always disappointed, because, you know, it's only by sheer luck or whatever you want to call it that we were born into the situations that we were. I mean, if you're listening to this podcast right now, I'm assuming you have a roof over your head. You have a phone to even listen to this on. You've got headphones to listen to this on. You know, you're probably living a really decent life, and you're living a life that's better than the majority of people that, to be quite honest, a lot of us don't even think about. You know, there's people in, you know, other countries, third world countries and stuff, that if coronavirus gets there, or, you know, if something gets to them, they're not even going to have the privilege of being 6 feet away from people, or, you know, being able to wash their hands or have clean water. And, you know, we're very, very fortunate. And I don't mean to harp on all this, but it really is true. Like, happiness equals reality over expectations, because if you can accept the reality and you have no expectations of what's going to happen, and you're only focused on solving problems and moving forward, then like you can't lose. You know what I mean? Like you can be sad about things, but as long as you can face reality and be honest with yourself and like, okay, this happened, that sucks, but like, what am I going to do about it? Because there's nothing we can do. AJ, your face is amazing right now.
Yeah, this happened last episode, and I'm in a good mood.
Yeah, I
AJ's
guess
getting some sun on his face right now.
even though he's in an indoor studio.
Yeah, there's a window.
The
Apparently,
one window that's in the studio.
is
Yeah.
just shining very brightly on him.
So the one thing that I think is what's hard about people is because there's a very defined, clear line. Like it's an event that happened in your life that is very abrupt. I mean, it's happened over 3 weeks, but I mean, in the sense of like, I think culturally, historically, there's going to be a pre-corona life and a post-corona life.
Oh
Like,
yeah,
I
for sure,
think-
man. We're living
I
through
think-
a historical event for sure.
I think it is very different, and I think it's something that's even more, terrifying and scary as the, the Spanish flu. But like the Spanish flu, the Great Depression, the Roaring 20s, all happened within like a 10, 15-year span. So it's like, yo, sign me the fuck up. That sounds terrible, but also like a blast at the same time, because it's like, it is just insane the amount of stuff that's going to change. But it's like, as a human beings, what makes us superior to any other mammal, any other creature in the entire planet is that we have the ability to adapt. We adapt, we overcome, we problem solve. You can't teach a robot that. You can't teach an AI that. And it's like, and if it were in nature and this virus existed and it just attacked penguins only, we'd be like, oh, damn, I guess penguins are dead now. But like,
Yeah.
we're humans. We're not going to let that happen to us. So we're the only species that's aware of our own death. We're aware of our own mortality, and that's why, again, not to call back to the merch again, but like that's the same idea. It's like the more aware of your not infinite time on this world, you want to make the most of it. You want to create these powerful new memories, and I think it's hard to find hope and it's hard to find optimism in times like this. But if you work really, really hard and you try really, really hard to find the silver linings and things, like they're there, and you just gotta like, it feels like digging through needles in a haystack to find the one thing that's good or the one thing that makes you happy. But
let's be real, the world has been fucked up and in need of a massive correction for quite some time. I mean, you look at American politics, I think that's what a lot of people voted Donald Trump for, because they wanted something to shake things up. You look at climate change, you look at, the current state of wealth distribution, you look at the current state of a lot of things, and you can tie it a lot back to the invention of the internet, because the internet has changed so many things, and we've had so many old systems that just like don't work with this new modern way of living.
all the new systems are dying, and I love it.
Yeah, exactly. All the old systems are dying. And that's what I'm saying. I think
extinct,
I think this time is a big shift, because also there's going to be a lot of things that go away. And that sucks, because anytime you have to grow, you have to, trim you have to trim your, what is it called when you're pruning a plant? Like you have to trim the little things to make it grow taller or whatever. You
said pruning.
Yeah, you have.
It's the whole decision thing. That decide
and that
to
sucks.
cut. Yeah.
And it's like yeah, exactly. And it's like this whole idea that especially to go back to the virus, people are talking about some people are gonna die, blah blah blah, and that really does suck. But if you actually do think about it, it's kind of like again, everyone's gonna die eventually, and unfortunately, in order to grow as a society, there's always going to be casualties of war. There's always going to be things that unfortunately happen. In order to make some sort of progress, there's got to be something kind of bad that unites us. And I think this is a big wake-up call that's that's happening. And it's like,
I got something for you. You're gonna love.
Yeah, go for it.
I truly and honestly and fully believe, and I believe this deep down in my core. I think once you become an adult, 18, 19, 20, the only way you will ever change your way is if you go through a trauma. No matter how hard you want to change, no matter how hard you have to change, no matter what the difficult situation, the only way you're going to change is if life punches you square in the fucking mouth. And we are currently seeing a global punch to the face. Everyone at the exact same time is getting a rude dose of reality. They're getting just fucking
sure.
hammered. Like one of our friends, one of our mutual friends, Kyle, one of his best friends, dad just died recently, and he was told, "Don't go to the hospital to watch your dad die."
You can't.
What the fuck? Could you imagine? No
That's
funeral.
the saddest
either.
part
No
of this whole
funeral.
thing.
No funeral either. You get to die alone. Like I'm telling you, like there's so many people that are gonna need therapy and antidepressants and communities and like mental. You think mental health was a problem before? Oh boy, we are just getting started. We are just getting started because the toxic people are gonna get even more fucking toxic, and the people that understand themselves and their knowledge and their growth and their history will just blossom and bloom. And like I'm so lucky and I'm so fortunate that like I've got my perspectives, and then I think about other people in my life that have been around me that have like, you know, like scraped the bottom of the barrel to like come up, you know, that came from nothing, you know, that just like fought to the top, that grind.
Totally.
Like, versus the people that have never had that happen to them. I don't care. I think we're all on equal playing fields right now. Like we're all getting like massive kicks to the dick, and it's hard, and it's going to get harder and harder and harder and harder. But I think out of this, these traumas will hopefully become the very deep relationships you've built with people. I hope what comes out of it is a newfound appreciation and gratitude for all the things we do have versus all the things we don't have. I hope that people face their darkness. I hope everyone who's been running away from everything in their entire life, who's stuck in their house, sits on the floor with their eyes closed in a dark room and just thinks about their life and how they got to where they are and the decisions that they're making and what they're doing, and they're allowed to cry, they're allowed to scream, they're allowed to throw stuff, they're allowed to get pissed off and stomp around the room, you know, make a vlog, talk to yourself on your camera, have a therapy session, write that shit down on a journal. It doesn't matter. Flip tables over. Like, just do whatever you got to do to get out that fucking darkness inside of you, but get it out. Like, now is the time that you need to be able to look yourself in the mirror and have a conversation about you. Like, have a truthful conversation about, hey, you in the mirror, what the fuck are you doing? You know, and most people don't get that opportunity. They don't get that opportunity. It's a blessing. And I hope those are some of the big things that come out of it. Is, you know, and I'm lucky. I've had multiple experiences with this. I've had multiple experiences of having to look myself in the mirror and be like, all right, we got to fucking do this. Like, there's no other option. We can't do, like, we got to go. We got to go. And all the suggestions I just made, those are all things that I've done myself. And I have a lot of hope for this. I have a lot of excitement for change, but the now blows dicks. And, you know, not to like harp back on this whole temporary shit, because I feel like that's all I'm talking about, but that's literally why I got it tattooed on my wrist and why I have tattoos going out to you guys. And that's why I've got fucking shirts and hoodies, because I want, and stickers you can put on your phones and your wheelchairs and your water bottles to just remember, like, yo, this is temporary. It's going to be over soon, but we don't know when, but we just know it is. Like, for a fact, without a doubt, it will be over soon. Like, if you just keep doing the next right thing day by day by day, and be kind to yourself and forgive yourself and don't be so mean. Like, that was one rule I had with myself, is like, if I can't go positive, just don't go negative. Like, if I don't meet my own expectations, that's fine. If I do meet my own expectations, then I'll give myself a pat on the back, like a literal, actual pat on the back. I will reach with my hand and pat myself on the back. But also, if I fuck around all day, if I don't do the things I say I'm going to do, if I make all the quote-unquote wrong choices that day, then still be nice. You don't be mean to yourself. Just don't be mean to yourself. And, you know, these are the kind of things that, like, why I'm passionate about Wheels to Walking, and maybe this is what we're gonna fucking do for our video series, bro. Because, like, I'm feeling like a fire underneath my ass right now to feel like I want to share my own experience with, like, going through and overcoming disability and addiction, and I feel like I want to bring on as many people as I fucking can and talk to them and try to figure out how we can expand this conversation, because I feel like this is like an asset that, like, disabled people have that people don't know that we have. And I'm just getting, like, fucking fired up about this shit, because this is, like, truly something I believe in, something passionate I believe in. But I'm also a goddamn realist too. Like, I understand you're not going to get this way overnight. Like, I understand you're not going to be perfect at it. Like, I understand, like, this sucks. But you can find a way to every day make it 1% better.
The only reason why it sucks, though, is because we know what the other side looks like. You know, it's
exactly.
like
Gratitude is gone.
you only know like the worst thing in the world is not like ever reaching like the highest level of success. The worst thing in the world is reaching like the highest levels of success and then losing it all. You know, like that's the worst because you know exactly what it all tasted like, and then you just going back from a huge win or a huge success or whatever. And when you were talking about earlier about something, it made me think of Jackie Chan. He is donating his entire wealth. Like he's not giving his children any money. And when he was asked about that, he said, well, if my son is not going to be, if my son is not a smart person or something along those lines, if he's not a successful businessman, then the money's going to go to waste anyways. And if he can't make that money himself, then it doesn't change anything. Like basically it's like I either taught my son to provide for himself and be a good citizen. I created my own success. I got all this money for myself. If my son is not, if I haven't set my son up to do that for himself, then giving him money is not going to help him kind of thing. Like,
yeah.
I thought that was kind of interesting.
Yeah. I feel a little similarly when it comes to like my last name, for example. Like, I actually honestly hope that my last name dies with me because anyone who has my last name, in my opinion, has done jack shit with their life and they're just horrible people that are fucking weird. You know, like, I've somehow been the only people to escape my last name. Like, I'm literally the only person in my entire family that still has this last name that is, like, you know, from my mother. And, you know, like...
And your mom doesn't have that last name currently?
No, mom doesn't have it. My sisters don't have it. My dad has it, but, like... Okay. But like I just the Corbett lineage, I'm just like bleh. Like it feels so tainted. So it's like I want to like
yeah, but that's comes some kind of like old world shit. Who cares?
I don't know,
man.
I don't know, dude. It's like generational wealth, like old.
I mean, I don't
stuff.
know. I mean, my last name's not anything crazy. It's like, I mean.
Well, I guess all I'm trying to say is I think I want my kids. I think I want my kids to not have my last name. I think I'd rather have my kids have a better last name than mine. The only reason, this is gonna sound so cock, but the only reason my last name is good is because of me. Other than that, it's a trash last name. It's trash.
You know what's funny? My cousin actually, when my cousin and her husband got married, they combined their last names.
Oh, like a hyphenate type thing?
No, they made a whole new last name. His last name was Burke or something like that, and her last name was Durkaz, and they combined it and made Burkaz.
That's kind of
like
cool.
They invented a new last name by combining the two. So maybe that's something you could do. I kind of like that idea actually. I thought it was kind of funny because I think a lot of like very like traditional whatever people are like, oh fucking pussy, you didn't make your wife change your last name, like blah blah blah. It's like, dude, I really don't care about that. Honestly, my last name is hard as fuck to spell. Like it's unique, but like no one can ever say it.
The only reason you ever need a last name is through generational wealth. Like the only reason.
Well, no, it's also identification.
Yeah, but I'm saying for the sake of like personal relationships or business relationships or generational wealth, it's like how like I know a guy who's like the 6th version. He's like fucking John 6 or some shit.
I'm the 6th virgin in my family. God damn it. That one.
God, yeah.
No, but yeah, I don't know. Last names are weird. I'm not super like attached to that idea either. But yeah, I agree. It's like kind of a weird thing.
Hope you enjoyed that clip. If you'd like to see the full episode, click right here. If you'd like to subscribe, click here. If you'd like more clips, we got 2 more right over here.